Planet Earth? What's good? This your boy Codell, and welcome back to another episode of FGP. That is Father's Gospel Podcast. Just in case you don't know, hey, if you happen to be new, or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Anyways, I got a good episode, you guys. Today, I'm going to be reading an article, and this article is pretty eye-opening. It's from Compact Mag, and the lady who wrote it is Helen Andrews, and it is called The Great Feminization. So, yeah, basically, she breaks down how the feminization of society is responsible for the mess that we are currently in. So, it's pretty dope. Anyways, let's get into it, you guys. Okay, so here's what she has to say. In 2019, I read an article about Larry Summers and Harvard that changed the way I look at the world. The author, writing under the pseudonym Jay Stone, argued that the day Larry Summers resigned as president of Harvard University marked a turning point in our culture. The entire woke era could be extrapolated from that moment, from the details of how Summers was canceled, and most of all, who did the canceling? Women. The basic facts of the Summers case were familiar to me. On January 14th, 2005, at a press conference on diversifying the science and engineering workforce, Larry Summers gave a talk that was supposed to be off the record. In it, he said that female underrepresentation in hard science was partly due to different availability of aptitude at the high end, as well as taste differences between men and women, not attributable to socialization. Some female professors in attendance were offended and sent his remarks to a reporter. So he was saying that, one, they struggle to find enough women that have basically a high enough IQ to participate, in this particular field of science at a high level. Not that there aren't females that aren't able to participate, but there's just not a high number of them, right? And then he goes on to say that also women just tend to not be naturally geared towards this type of work. Obviously, there's exceptions to the rules, and some of the female professors, they're getting their feelings hurt. So it's just, man, it's like it's that typical, woke female Karen white woman liberal fatigue. We got the black fatigue going on. I call it the white liberal fatigue. So there's definitely that as well. I'm telling you. Anyways, let's get back to this article. So, some female professors in attendance were offended and sent his remarks to a reporter in defiance of the off the record rule. The ensuing scandal led to a no confidence vote by the Harvard faculty and eventually Summers' resignation. So all the women canceled him. The essay argued that it wasn't just that women had canceled the president of Harvard, it was that they canceled him in a very feminine way. He made emotional appeals rather than logical arguments. Does not work in the real world when it comes to major decision makings. You do not make any major decision on your emotions. Logic is the key. Gentlemen, always remember that. And ladies, you just got to accept that's the true reality of the world. Okay. Anyways, when he started talking about innate differences in aptitude between men and women, I couldn't just breathe because this kind of bias makes me physically ill, said Nancy Hopkins, a biologist at MIT. Summers made a public statement clarifying his remarks, and then another, and then a third, with the apology more insistent each time. That right there was a mistake. You cannot appease these people. You're never going to please them. Don't apologize to them because they're just going to eat you even more, man. Like, you're going to get cannibalized. And that's exactly what happened. Anyways, experts chimed in to declare that everything Summers had said about sex differences was within the scientific mainstream. These rational appeals had no effect on the mob hysteria. Anyways, this cancellation was feminine. The essay argued because all cancellations are feminine. True, that is so true. Cancel culture is simply what women do whenever there are enough of them in a given organization or field. That is the great feminization thesis. So, yeah, this is really interesting because I tend to agree. Men are decision making. I mean, we've just been programmed to be more logical. Man, I'm sorry, guys. I'm dry throat. Women, you guys, you just run more on your emotions. It's just that's how God's programmed you. That's just the reality of the situation. Now, you can be more logical about things if you are able to be more self aware. That goes for men as well. Like the more self aware you are, the better you are, the more able you are to apply logic to situations, if you get what I'm saying. So, and ladies, I know that's harder for you on average because again, you're just not programmed to be as logical as men are. So, and I'm sorry, I'm not hating. I'm not hating. Like it's just the way it is. Anyways, the explanatory power of this simple thesis was incredible. It really did unlock the secrets of the era we are living in. Wokeness is not a new ideology. I agree. A lot of people think it is. This goes back to the 60s, started way before then. And an outward growth of Marxism or a result of post Obama disillusionment. It is simply feminine patterns of behavior applied to institutions where the women were few in number until recently. How did I not see it before? So that's what she's saying in the article. Possibly because, like most people, I think of feminization as something that happened in the past before I was born. When we think about women in legal profession, for example, we think of the first women to attend law school, 1869, the first woman to argue a case before the Supreme Court, 1880. This is all a long time ago, ladies. Or the first female Supreme Court justice, 1981. A much more important tipping point is when law schools became majority female, which occurred in 2016. I'm just going to be honest. I don't think that's good. I really don't. Again, because ladies, y'all are programmed to be more emotional. Men, we are programmed to be logical. And because you are programmed to be emotional, it just, again, some of you, is there exceptions to the rule? Yeah, some of you are going to be good attorneys, but a lot of you, you're going to be attorneys who are running off emotion. And again, that's gonna lead to wokeness, so it's not good. Which occurred in 2016. And anyways, a much more tipping point is when law schools became majority female, which occurred in 2016, or when law firm associates became majority female, which occurred in 2023. When Sandra Day O'Connor was appointed to the High Court, only 5% of judges were female. Today, women are 33% of the judges in America and 63% of the judges appointed by President Joe Biden. Dear Lord. The same trajectory can be seen in many professions. A pioneering generation of women in the 1960s and 70s, increasing female representation in the 1980s and 90s, and gender parity finally arriving at least in the younger cohorts in the 2010s or 20s, 2010s or 20s. And in 1974, only 10% of New York Times reporters were female. The New York Times staff became majority female in 2018. And today, female share is 55%. And what's going on in media? Huh? Media's woke. It's woke. Woke, ladies. There's no denying it. Men, you know what? It, there's no denying it as well. Man, we have just as much responsibility in this mess. Like, we got to clean this up. So, ladies, inevitably, I know a lot of you don't want to hear this, but the position of running the world and positions of power mainly belong to men. Is there exceptions to the rule? Is there the occasional female that can handle that responsibility and do it correctly? Yeah, but it's rare, few, and far, and in between. And that goes for men as well. Most men are not designed to be leaders on large scales. But men are designed to lead in some way or another, whether it's small, just, on a small scale, locally, just within the family or a nation, and that's just the way it is. Again, just the way God designed us. So love it or hate it, ladies, it's the reality. And I love you. And I know some of you, you hear this and you're like, yeah, that's cool. I know that's how things are. But if you're that way, I need you to get on board and helping us men, us good men, start policing these crazy women. Anyways, let's get back to this article. So I don't know if I'm going to finish it because it is long. No, you know what? I'm not going to finish it. This goes on. So yeah, you guys, long story short, what this lady is saying is that, look, when we have too many females within our institutions running the levers of power, it is going to facilitate wokeness. And that is not a good look for anybody. It's not good for ladies. It's not good for men. It's certainly not good for our children. And it's not good for the long term stability of our nation. And this is just the reality of it. So, you guys, let me know what you think. What do you think? You know, do you also agree that our society has become way too feminized? I personally, I do think that everything has been reversed. We have way too many women acting like men and way too many men acting like women. And let's just get to the roots of it. The reason that's going on is because we have way too many single parent households, single mother households. Let me clarify that, okay? Truth is truth. That's just the reality. And we got to reverse this. We have to stop celebrating and praising single motherhood. It's not cool. Is there good single mothers? Yeah. But those single mothers also realize that being a single mom is not necessarily a good thing. It's not meant to, be promoted in a way where that should be the standard for raising a family. A good single mother knows that that's just not the reality. A good single mother would rather have, a good father helping raise that child. So, anyways, you guys, that's what I got. Let me know what y'all think. Like, share, subscribe. We're trending towards 200 subscribers. I don't know. I think I got 162 right now. So help me get there. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm obviously trying to make this channel get really big because not only am I putting out information like this, but I'm on here, helping push things through like legislation that can possibly help take our country in a better direction with the family court. So, anyways, I'm Codell. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Love y'all. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell. And until next time, I love you, but God loves you way more. I'm out. Peace.